Welcome to our program. Our today guest is Advaita Mihail Stoyan. We'll talk about feminine power. And our guest is a senior teacher of Natha Yoga Center, Denmark, currently in Copenhagen, Aarhus and Odense. He's also the coordinator of Atman International Teacher Training Programs in Yoga, Tantra and Meditation. He's also the co-author of the Tantra Intensive course, one of the world's foremost Tantra courses. And your philosophy in life is to live fully and consciously. I have read that you dedicated your life to help people truly live in a conscious way. What does it mean? Welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me. Well, it means to bring this gift of awareness in every aspect of your life, not only in some aspects. So, you see, it means to stop having preferential awareness, to have a spheric awareness in good things, in bad things, because this is how you generate some understandings that are comprehensive. You can also generate transformation in your life, bettering yourself if you want. So that's
your purpose. What is it about?
It is.
And how you help women to find their feminine power. And what is the feminine power?
According to the ancient scriptures, especially from Tantra, feminine power is the dynamic manifestation of the supreme consciousness. Is the, if you want, the executive power of God. And it is the way the supreme consciousness is manifesting everywhere. Is the dynamic aspect of life, if you want. Is the energy, to put it in let's say, a little modern terms. Yeah. So, in the ancient systems, they present two poles of existence, like consciousness on one side, which is the one generating awareness, lucidity, one makes us self-aware, and the other one is energy, the dynamic aspect of life itself, everything that is unfolding, that is becoming into something, is supported by energy. Where there is no energy, there is no motion. As we know, there is nothing. Well, so in this dynamics between consciousness and energy, everything is born. This is how ancient systems were presenting the entire phenomenology in the creation, and interesting enough, modern physics especially follow in the footprints of these ancient texts and discover exactly the same structure. Now, of course, the role of consciousness, we are still debating about it, and as you know, in quantum mechanics, you look at a particle, it is a particle, you don't look at it, it starts to behave like an energy wave. So there the role of consciousness is a little bit still debatable, but definitely we live in a universe made of energy.
And also some laws.
Energy is subjected to laws, is generating actually laws. In the ancient time, they call it the intrinsic wisdom of feminine.
Beautiful.
So, every energetic manifestation have an intrinsic wisdom. Thus, I used to say, all women, which are predominantly energetic, are having an intrinsic wisdom. Sometimes hard to understand with the masculine logic, but definitely very profound. So, this is one of the things that women today have to discover, this intrinsic, inherent wisdom that they have inside. They don't need validation from anyone. They need to discover this intrinsic wisdom from within. They are endowed with this wisdom. You see,
maybe they are not connected with, they don't know about it.
No, they don't even, they're taught in certain ways, they are put in a certain frame that is suppressing their feminine power. We emphasize very much on logic, on lucidity, on achievement, on motivation, based on action and goals. All of this help a man very much. The way even the brain of a man is wired is helped by this kind of attitude. But intuition, emotional intelligence, heartfulness, these are big mysteries today, and this is very unfortunate because these are part of the feminine qualities.
And you also are saying that like women should lead with this because they have this attitude.
This is their power.
Yes, this
you
is
put them
yes.
on the other side of the room, so to speak. Of course, they are having the second place. So it's like it's natural because, of course, they are starting from the wrong position. But give a woman, for instance, the education to develop her intuitive powers, and you have a extraordinary valuable member of your team. Yeah, but for that you need to have room in the work for intuition. Today we start with, I would say, timidly,
flexible,
to acknowledge a little more, especially through introducing more artistic inspiration in the work of companies and things merging a little bit, but it's very far from cultivating true feminine values. Like, for instance, cultivating emotions. Look what happens today. In our society here, you hardly can smile to someone without being suspected that you want something from them. And, well, this is wrong. This is wrong, especially for the feminine. Feminine need this emotional environment.
And this whole world needs this because it's like positive energy for everybody. Yeah? Like even
Absolutely.
this example with the smile. And what do you think the role of the woman nowadays? It's a little better because we get some freedom, but still.
Well, yeah, freedom to what? You see,
that's
because
the question. Explain
if you get freedom, today women are free to be men.
And this is not the good.
Yeah, go to the working place and try to be feminine. You are not serious.
Yes.
You are considered not worthy there.
It's like they find your weakness, like when you're smiling.
It's a weakness.
Yes.
It's
not your kindness.
It's something
not your,
that if you are sensual, if you are, I know also in your work here on TV. I had a friend who was working in a TV station, in a national TV station, and she was a reporter, and they said, "You're too sensual."
Yes.
You can't be this anchor for the news because you're too sensual. What is this having to do with?
You should act like more like a man, be cold and
exactly. Like
mask.
Do you think that we all need only that? Definitely not. Studies are showing that we need both.
We should find the way how to.
Exactly.
Yes.
But we need to have the wisdom, first of all, to understand the need, and then we make room for it. Masculine frame. But when you create a flexible frame, feminine is creative, not disruptive. Yeah. So
and maybe also it will come like with time because it's like a new thing. I think also it's like women get some space. It's like they have a new roles, even in business. Like before they couldn't do many things, and now they are like from not so long time in the history they can be leaders, so they don't know how they should act. Should they act like men? Should they act like women? Exactly. So your answer is don't reject your feminine side, but find what is the best maybe from both roles.
Women are capable in a specific way to lead a project, but it's specific. If you don't teach the specific, then practically they try to adapt by almost mutilating their soul to put themselves in a box that is improper, that is not theirs. Yeah, they don't belong to that box. It doesn't make any good for them. So this is why I'm saying today we need to value the real feminine, not the feminine from the perspective of running away from the masculine. Because this is what you see today. The liberation of the feminine. From what? From the masculine. But this doesn't exist such thing.
Sometimes it's even like the feminists are very angry when women are acting like women when they are using too much makeup or something. So they say you are not free enough. But it's like, I'm a woman. I want to use these tools.
Yeah. No, but not only. But for instance, in the soul of a woman, the need for aesthetic is a fundamental part. And then you don't use makeup because you want to impress a man. By the way, the admiration of a man is extremely important for a woman. Very important. It doesn't mean dependency. Yes. Exactly. She needs to find that strength in herself. Not because depending on that validation, but because she wants to inspire. You know, there is a fundamental difference between being a temptation and being an inspiration. That was an age-old dilemma for
Please
women.
explain us.
You see, when you are a temptation, you tempt the man, for instance, in order to obtain something. That's dependency. Yeah? When you're an inspiration, you just inspire. You don't expect anything in exchange. An inspiration is a muse. An inspiration is amazing. You know, an inspiration, when you inspire somebody, the inspiration that you offer to that person also uplift your soul. It's an extraordinary hypothesis to be an inspiration. Well, women have it naturally. Yeah? They can be an inspiration. Look in the whole history. You have clear examples of temptations, women trying to tempt the men, trying this and that.
Fatales and
all this, yeah. And that's a tragic situation, and I totally agree, women should go away from that, yeah.
Yes.
But not running away to become the opposite of the temptress, yeah, to be the fighter. It's absurd. It's the same dependency.
We should try to find the balance.
To find
new
yourself.
way. Yes.
To find yourself. When you find yourself, you become an inspiration. Because as also ancient texts were saying, and I discovered it myself through practice and being in relationship with women, women are born perfect. The only problem is they are unconscious about their perfection. Therefore, they depend on some guys to tell them how perfect they are. Stop that.
It's beautiful.
Find your own perfection, and then you will stop running away, you will stop being dependent, because you are yourself. And how you are amazing already. But this is the drama today. That's why I'm saying the liberation of the woman is not to run away from the man, it's simply to find herself. Then she's free. She's born free. Look at when a woman is more awakened on herself, she's not just free, she's scarily free. She scares everybody around with her freedom.
That's true.
Everybody is thinking, I'm afraid what she will do next.
And it's almost also maybe about this old patriarchate that they wanted to not allow women to be so powerful.
But why? Why do you think?
I ask you why.
I'm telling you, because when the man is weak, he's scared of the spontaneity and freedom of the woman. When the man is strong in his masculinity, he gives freedom to the woman, naturally. So that's a message to the guys. Be very careful, you put limits. Many guys, for instance, today, in the Western society, put sexual limits to their lovers. They make love in one position. Women can make love in many positions, many hours in a row, but the guys cannot follow. Yeah? And then they suppress it. Mentally, they manipulate them, and then the girl says, well, 3 minutes in heaven is better than 1 minute in heaven. So let's work with that.
But this is the important issue, because you also are teaching about this women in bed, like feminine power, how to use it in bed. And that women can lead.
Yes, the tantric system actually is giving a leading role to Shakti, to the feminine. Leading role in relationship, in bedroom, for instance. And it doesn't mean that, I don't know, she's kind of a merciless ruler. Dominatrix.
This is also like a masculine part. It's like she should be a woman.
No, exactly. With her power. With her feminine power. A woman, for instance, is sexually stronger than the man. Proven scientifically. That's it. When the man is unconscious. So, for the man, for the man is a positive challenge to awaken. Because when he awakens, and now we make a campaign, awakening is called, for the guys. We have it in Copenhagen and now in Stockholm also, we'll go in Oslo. For the guys to understand this, you awaken, you match, in a positive way, you match the strength, the erotic strength of the woman in a natural way. But the woman can show you how. That's the interesting part. I mean, she's not the enemy. She's your helper.
Partner in crime.
Yeah, well, partner in ecstasy. But that's in this way, the woman is fulfilling herself. Yeah, not because she wants something to prove to the guy. No, when she is such an inspiration for the man, she gains a lover that can make love with her truly the whole night, the real one night standing, not the 5 minutes standing and one night sleeping, the real one night standing. Then she's gaining affection, she's gaining everything that she aspires to just by being herself. So that's why women can relearn lovemaking, relearn how is to be fulfilled. Most of the women today, they don't even have an idea what means to be erotically fulfilled, emotionally fulfilled, to be herself. They just go like a ghost, you know, or run like a ghost. No, I stay away from this. No, don't look at me with sensual eyes because I don't want to be your erotic object. But you need to be that.
And this is also interesting because you are teaching that you shouldn't be like sexual object, but also problem is when you're non-sexual object. It's like you should
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Either you are the object or running away from the object, there is a relationship between you and that object because you run away from it.
And you are still a woman.
You still have it.
You're in this role. Exactly. Yeah, you still have it.
And let's not forget, not by coincidence, speaking of this intimacy and eroticism, when a woman is not fulfilling herself erotically, is not having one or more relationships that fulfill her, she's the one suffering the most. Men is suffering much less.
Healthy issues, because this also is interesting that it's proved that it has connection with her health problems later, or aging, or getting older faster.
It's a well-known fact that a woman can have multiple complications in the genital area due to the fact that she doesn't make love enough, fulfilling, with plenitude. Yeah, this is a fact. But of course the problem is what? You can not go to the doctor and he tells you, go home, make love. Yeah, do you have a phone number of someone? Because that's the problem. Yeah, yes, it is a catch-22 there because of course she needs to be an inspiration, but that's also something that women don't understand today. Either way, reactive or depending, you are not an inspiration. But when you are sitting there blossoming in your femininity, well, the magnet is big. And then it will attract, inevitably, the right guy, so to speak, the man that really can deal with you, so to speak, can be happy to make you happy.
And what is the law? Because again, you have a law for everything. What is the law for a woman to
nature
attract?
Have a law. I'm just
to attract the like when the weak women are attracting, for example, somebody weak or strong.
It's always proportional to the fulfillment of the two in their role. You see, for instance, if a woman gets more masculine, it doesn't mean she will attract a masculine man. She will attract a more feminine man, which means less masculine man.
And she is probably looking for a strong man.
Yeah, exactly.
And
then she says, what is this? Well, why is the universe sending to me all this, kids? Because you are asking the father. Because you play the father. Of course, it sends you some kids there. If you will be the extraordinary feminine one, you will attract the extraordinary masculine one. So you see, it's called the law of polarity.
That's
strong plus attracts strong minus. The minus is weaker and weaker. The plus that it attracts is weaker and weaker.
Science.
So you cannot say it's a strong minus, but it attracts a small plus. It doesn't. The small plus runs away from really strong minus. Yeah.
So women are causing themselves problems because they don't understand this law.
We always cause our own problems. I mean, ultimately, we need to get out of certain situations in which we are trapped by ourselves. It's a good news, in my opinion, You know, many people get scared. Really? So you mean I did all this doom to myself? Yeah, but I would say this is good news. What if you were doomed and somebody else was the one who you depend on?
And you still have some time to do this better way.
Yeah, and you still have a lot of methods. The big problem in the case of feminine today is the ignorance.
By this you mean that they don't know this fact, or this is basic?
They ignore themselves. They ignore their fundamental needs. Yeah, and then they try to, as I said, to validate with or to react. Now this big movement of reacting to the problems. You don't reach anywhere. Yeah.
And they should start from themselves.
For instance, repelling intimacy just because you have an unfortunate, and yes, it is unfortunate situation where you make love wrongly, or you were touched wrongly, or the man has a weird attitude. Many men are completely uneducated. So therefore they do mistakes also. I'm not trying to defend some bad guys there.
No, just explaining.
But, you know, I know from experience, I talk with hundreds of men who were confessing, look, I did it wrong, I did something wrong to my lover in the relationship. But they do it out of ignorance also. Yeah, and then the reaction of the woman is exactly in kind, so to speak. So they hit each other like big time. So, of course, that doesn't solve the problem. Now that you close down and you say, no, fine, I'm not interested in intimacy anymore, you lose. You lose big time.
The relationship
because,
and everything.
Learn about the correct intimacy and you'll be surprised. You can even teach a lesson to the guy who actually also didn't know what to do. And he was a little bit clumsy, and he couldn't control his instincts, and he was strange. But that is coming out of both of them being ignorant, becoming reactive to each other, and so on. Be proactive,
and
learn correctly what is your part, and then you will be surprised. You will teach also the other side. You will take initiative, and you will say, look, darling, I understand, but actually I'm not scared of this. Now I embrace it and I see the good parts of it, and let's do it well. Then is no trauma for me. It is actually a big inspiration for you, and you will not have guilt or shame or something. On the contrary, you will say, wow, this is the woman of my dreams. Yeah, and that kind of attitude fulfill the soul of the woman, and so on. So that's why these problems can be solved also through education and through acknowledging the true feminine values.
But first, women should learn that they have got needs and start to look for them. And this is interesting that you are teaching, like it starts from the woman. That this is like she should first.
Her universe start from her.
And many women are looking for somebody who will come and fulfill. This is like a childish, yes, that we
Absolutely.
Are waiting for somebody to come and give us our dream.
This is the mistake. And then,
yes, exactly.
Then they are the others, the other women, reacting to this, and then they stay isolated. It's exactly the same prison, just it is painted differently. Yeah, and then they stay there proud in their prison of solitude and says, now I'm not depending on anyone. You depend on anyone, you want to know how? Because I come close to you and you run. So I control you.
There's
because
always this reaction.
You are reactive and therefore I can control you when you are reactive. When you are proactive, when you solve your own problem inside, then you're completely independent.
To be in a relationship, like, I don't mean like to lose your freedom, but people are sometimes only like on this level of having fun or something, and they don't want any like engagement, commitment.
Yeah, this is something else. You see, commitment today is understood as attachment. Commitment appear only when you have a common goal. That's the real commitment. Otherwise, it's just attachment. You bound, you put a wire there around each other just to make sure that you don't go away. That's so wrong. Stay together if you love each other. That's it. The rest, let it breathe. Yeah, and yes, sometimes people get together in the same direction. Yeah, they, for instance, want to learn to be intimate together. Then the man here, oh, I can make love for hours. Then she will be so happy. Then I can learn this together with you. Excellent. Now we have a project together. Oh, what a project.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that is commitment. You want this also for her. She wants this also for you. Then this is commitment. Then you don't need attachment anymore because you really work in the same direction. And you know, when birds are flying in the same direction, they get closer to each other.
Yes.
You don't need to tie them together. Yeah.
They have the
Otherwise,
same goal, yes.
people tied to each other like
and it doesn't work.
chains they
Yes.
put. Yeah. They even start to, build houses together in order to make they even say, let's have a child to consolidate our relationship.
This is the worst idea.
Yeah,
I
it's like,
think.
no, I mean, I'm not against having the child.
But not for
what's
this
the guilt
reason?
of that child?
Yes.
I mean, you failed to be together
Yes.
for good reasons, and now let's put
Or
on the
sometimes
burdens
the
of...
relationship doesn't work and they want to have a child. Like the child is like
Yeah.
a plaster to fix this
Yeah.
wrong word. This is
Which is totally
very-
unfair
yes.
for the little one.
Exactly,
I mean,
I
the new
agree.
life, you give birth to a new life like it's a little slave. There.
Yes.
You call and said, you're not independent. You have to carry the burden of this. And what if he doesn't want?
Exactly.
You didn't ask. Yeah. So that's the... And in this respect, all those aspects ignored make a woman locked in a prison. Even if she tries, because she's much more related to these aspects. Men have an escape much easier due to the way he's wired, due to the way he's structured. But for the woman, these aspects matter, even if she doesn't recognize it. Even if she's part of, I don't know what kind of forum which tells them, no, we are, yeah. And then she secretly cried there and she's very unhappy. But she doesn't admit, well, it's related to these issues. They are related, the science proves it. So it's irrelevant to fight it like that. It's much better to embrace the problem, solve it, then you're truly free. But that's actually, in my opinion, also the mistake today. The feminine element will be very transformative for the entire society. And that is bad for business.
Explain why.
Well, for the matter, for instance, of spontaneity. Imagine an electorate that can't be predicted by numbers. You never know what they vote with. You never know what they buy. Why? Because they're spontaneous.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are no measures.
The more spontaneity, the more intuition comes into the place, the more heart-driven life, the less predictability you have. One of the fundamental issues that we have today, we fundamentally reject feminine element. We take it out from our agenda, so to speak.
And what is your advice, generally, to the women? How to find their feminine power, how to use it?
Well, try to look into the mirror beyond the makeup, beyond all the things
Extras.
that you try to fix there. Find yourself. Look into that mirror, since you always spend that time, and to find yourself, because from there everything begins. Don't run away from yourself. Don't reject. Acknowledge yourself with all your beautiful needs, with all your amazing inspirations. Dare to be yourself. Learn. The Tantric system, for instance, is the science of femininity almost. It's not only, but I would say because of this gap, women can learn enormously much from the Tantric system. Learn, educate yourself. A woman educated in the mysteries of femininity as a powerful woman, as a woman that owns her own life, despite all these things that we were talking here. A woman in ignorance, she's easy prey.
Thank you for coming here today, and I advise you to find more information also in books and in workshops of our guest. It was so lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me.